Hello guys and welcome back again to the Tech YouTube channel. Today we are going to do an unboxing, take a closer look and do a performance review of the Be Quiet's latest high-end dual tower CPU cooler, the Dark Rock Pro 3. Taking a closer look at the huge product box, you can almost feel that German engineering coming right out of it. Everything is nicely laid out, starting from the front where you can see a big picture of the cooler itself. Below it, there's a big 250 watt TDP sign specification, letting you know that this monster can take on anything in regards of cooling the CPU. Moving down a bit lower, you can see a list of some main features. Going around the box, you will find some information about the cooler on various languages, as well as a list of won awards from different IT publications, while on the back of the box you can see some usual but a bit more detailed specifications about the cooler itself and the fans. Going into the box, you can see that the cooler is really nicely packed in this big foam-like block material. And squeezed between them we have an accessory box with all the necessary parts for the cooler installation in it. And of course, here's the CPU cooler itself. Our first impressions of this cooler were that it is really big, but of course it is. It's a two-tower design. One thing that pops right out is the big brushed aluminum top cover, which looks really nice with this Be Quiet logo in the middle of it, surrounded by bolts and ends of the heat pipes. Speaking of the heat pipes, Dark Rock Pro 3 carries 7 of them, 6 mm in diameter, evenly distributed through the two dark nickel-plated aluminum towers, which look really nice. You can see in this close-up some nice details and excellent engineering at hand. The big and also nickel-plated CPU base has literally mirror-like finish, which is always a big plus when it comes to transferring the heat from the CPU over to the cooler. Being a dual tower design, squeezed between them you'll find the first 135mm fan and on the front second 120mm fan from the Be Quiet Silent Wing series, both being, as you will see later on, very quiet when operational while also delivering great performance. Black and totally covered cable sleeving of both fans look really great and go well with the rest of the design scheme of the cooler. Put this and everything else to test, we decided to mount up the Dark Rock Pro 3 to our X99 platform and the heavyweight consumer CPU champion, the Core i7-5960X. The installation of the cooler is rather simple, instructions are comprehensive, and with few parts you are ready for putting the cooler onto the X99 platform, which is one of the easiest platforms to install too, since it already has screw points around the socket. Here we made a pretty usual mistake of putting the RAM first before installing the cooler, and because of that we couldn't reach the screws for the mounts. We removed the RAM and the front fan, installed the cooler, tightened up the screws, put the RAM back in, as well as the fan. RAM clearance is decent enough, and even with our a bit taller G-Skills RipJaws 4 DDR4 RAM, we had just the right amount of space. The only thing that could be a tight fit is the first PCI Express X16 slot, which is really close to the cooler, so I recommend putting your graphics card into another slot, especially if you have backplate on it, or aim for another motherboard model which has PCI Express X1 for the first slot. Taking a quick look at the performance figures, you can see that the in-idle Dark Rock Pro 3 keeps the 5960X almost cold as ice and being loud, or should I say as quiet as this. Under a full load, all 8 cores roam around just a little bit above the 60 degrees Celsius mark during the Prime 95 in-place large FFT test, being a bit louder than under idle of course, but you can always control that through the BIOS of the motherboard. Thank you guys once again for checking out our unboxing and review of the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 3 CPU cooler. Feel free to give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the product, and of course, if you would like to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our Tech YouTube channel or check out our other videos from before.